I was the useless, ornamental player in the dungeon raid. To survive, I tried desperately to please my teammates. I ate the least, did the most work, and was even thrown out as bait when necessary. But no one liked me. They only cared about the team's darling, Gary. By the 99th time, when everyone was busy protecting him and left me alone in danger, I finally got tired. I calmly leapt from the deep crevice. I just wanted to die quickly and be completely free. But a monster underground caught me. Why you are, the bride offered from above. 1. After being abandoned by the team once again, I dragged my battered body to the edge of a cliff. Calling it a cliff is generous. It was more like a bottomless chasm. Mist swirled inside, and strange screams echoed. I didn't care anymore. All I wanted was to jump. Player's body toxin level has exceeded 87%. Health decreasing. Estimated survival time, 7 days. The system's alert rang in my mind again. I shook my head, forcing out a smile. No need to wait 7 days. I'm ready to die now. System, if I died, I could finally be free. I said this, then slowly stepped forward. In an instant, the wind from the chasm roared, stinging my bloodied lips. It was then that I heard Frank's voice. 2. Do you know how long we've been looking for you? Frank's impatient expression cut through the wild brush blocking the path. Didn't I say if anyone got separated, stay put? Why were you running around? Your only use is as bait, and you keep giving us trouble. Come on, let's go back, Frank complained, stopping about 3 meters away. I instinctively tried to give him a pleading smile, and almost said something in explanation. If I hadn't run around, I'd have been torn to pieces by the monsters already. But thinking about it, it wasn't necessary. I'd been trying to please them for 2 years. Everyone assumed I was just jealous of Gary, trying to compete for attention. Every time danger came, I was always the one left behind. If that's the case, then I'll leave. I'm not going back. For the first time, I didn't force a smile. I looked at Frank calmly and said, the system says my health will only last a few days, so I've decided to leave the team. I'm going to die today. 3. Frank froze, staring at me. He seemed confused about why my attitude had suddenly changed, but soon he snorted, turning his head with a muttered curse. Drama queen. So this is your new way to get attention? This dungeon is full of poisonous fog, yet everyone else is fine, and you're the one near death. Do you really think that's believable? You just got left behind today by accident. Seriously, even tantrums have a limit. How long are you planning to compete with Gary? Henry? Seeing me still standing, Frank scowled and walked over to grab me. I stepped back to avoid him. I said I'm not going back. Frank's expression darkened. Fine, you want to die. Ha, go tell the team leader yourself. If he agrees to let you leave, you can die anywhere. We don't care. Before he finished speaking, my body fell backward. The weightlessness hit instantly, and the scenery in my eyes sped away. Amid Frank's panicked yelling, I felt nothing but relief. I closed my eyes, anticipating the end. Soon, everything went black. 4. I don't know how long I was unconscious. When I woke, dense vines were writhing beneath me. Cold, snake-like plant tendrils crawled up my legs, slowly wrapping around my body. A massive, twisted ancient tree loomed nearby, staring at me. Just one glance, and its overwhelming, dangerous aura made my heart race, almost suffocating me. Bride, why you are, the bride. A raspy, boyish voice, like a low moan from the abyss, drifting out of the darkness. I shivered instinctively. It slowly dawned on me, I had fallen into a monster's lair. So beautiful. The monster's vine-like tendrils suddenly yanked me closer. It pressed me against the tree trunk, rubbing with delight. Its excited whispers twisted through the air. Beautiful wife. Really like. Perfect. I want to eat. 5. In an instant, my eyes widened. Tears surged uncontrollably. 2 years in this endless game, enduring nothing but disdain and cold stares. And now, at the brink of death, the only one willing to like me, was a monster. My chest heaved violently. Big tears fell freely. I could only turn my head and say awkwardly, thank you. If you're going to eat me, please be gentle. I'm afraid of pain. The monster froze, seemingly flustered. Don't cry, it rasped. Its purple-flowered tendrils wiped my tears. I won't eat, wife, don't cry. Green vines stretched carefully, following the flow of my tears. They lifted me higher. I'll send you back. Finally, when I realized it, I was back on the ground. I froze, too stunned to wipe my tears, and hurriedly looked down. A long whip suddenly shot through the air from behind, wrapping around my waist and pulling me back. It was the team leader's Frost Thunder Whip. 6. David sheathed his whip. He glanced at me on the ground, then turned to Frank. So this is what you meant when you said he jumped off the cliff. Chris, leaning against a tree, smirked casually. Wow, our little team ornament is trying to commit suicide. Frank was still panting, staring at me in disbelief, his eyes gradually filling with anger. Are you messing with me? He yanked me off the ground. You knew all along that jumping here wouldn't hurt you, didn't you? That was just an act in front of me, wasn't it? And this whole, I won't survive a few days nonsense. You just wanted sympathy so everyone would revolve around you. I dangled in the air, his grip on my neck tight, and could only gasp. I didn't lie to you. Frank sneered, his hand squeezing tighter. Still playing innocent, Chris frowned slightly. Let him down first. Let Gary see if he's really hurt, so we're not accused of being unfair. As soon as he finished speaking, Gary bounced out from behind him. 6. Continued. Henry's perfectly fine. Gary tilted his baby-faced head, speaking cutely. I already used my skill just now. Henry's body is healthy, and there's no poison. Frank, don't be mad. It's just because you were so busy protecting me that Henry lied. He was only scared. Gary closed his eyes, hands in a praying gesture. A small white halo appeared above his head with a soft ding. Ah, may the Lord forgive your lie. Before such a pure little angel, Frank clearly couldn't stay angry. He exhaled deeply, disgustedly dropped me back to the ground, and turned away. I curled up, hand pressed to my heart where the poison ached again, and somehow, I smiled. I looked at Gary. Isn't the one who should be asking for forgiveness, you? 7. When I first entered the game, my relationship with the team wasn't nearly as bad as it is now, until I accidentally awakened a personal skill, charm, a special ability tied to appearance, making it easier to gain others' favor. But in Gary's words, it became something completely different. The day former team leader Brian died unexpectedly, Gary cried in front of everyone and said, Henry's skill can make everyone like him, which is why Brian recklessly sacrificed himself to save him. At that moment, everyone suddenly seemed enlightened, their expressions complex as they looked at me. I didn't understand what that meant. All I knew was, from then on, whenever danger came, I was always the first to be thrown forward. After I spent all my energy controlling monsters, they would slowly come to claim the rewards, then continue to keep their distance from me, as if I were some filthy virus. With Gary's repeated lies and accusations, I had become completely seen as a cunning little villain. No matter how much I tried to please or work hard, it was useless. 8. Say whatever you want. I wobbled to my feet. Cough. Anyway, I'm leaving the team. Where I go next, whether I live or die, isn't any of your business. Gary froze, looking at David with a hurt expression. David raised a hand to block me from leaving. What exactly are you upset about? He glanced at my hand over my chest, mocking. Such a clumsy act. Only Frank would take it seriously. Just a reminder, if you insist on playing this role, there's no way it'll end unless you die. I said nothing, silently bypassing him. David instinctively reached out, but maybe you remembered I had a reputation for seduction, and thought I was dirty, so he swapped the hand grab for the whip. Fine. David tossed me an antidote injection. Whether you're hurt or not, you can behave now. If you're leaving the team, fine, wait until the dungeon is over, but until then, do your duties. His tone was cold. Henry, my patience is limited. Stop throwing childish tantrums. 9. In the past, whenever David wore that cold expression, I'd cautiously try to please him, but this time, staring at the needle on the ground, I felt nothing, only emptiness. According to the rules of the Forest of Doom dungeon, any poisoning over 60% renders antidotes only partially effective. They can't cure you. So, no need, keep it yourself. I looked up expressionless, returning his coldness. David froze for a moment at my reaction. Perhaps it was just my imagination, but I felt a flicker of surprise and unease in that silence. 10. Soon, David returned to his usual self. Good, best if you don't need it. After all, we don't waste resources on trash. He turned. Keep moving, Chris. Watch him. Sure thing, Chris replied sarcastically, picking up the needle and slipping it into Gary's pocket. This is best kept for our precious Gary. Gary glanced at me hesitantly. But, no buts, you're the only valuable medic in the team. The rest don't matter. Chris pushed me roughly. Let's go, little actor. I nearly fell from the shove, hearing Chris's lazy laugh behind me. Ha, playing innocent again. Heart aching. I followed the team numbly. A purple flower drifted from the sky, sliding softly across my cheek. I froze, reaching out to catch it. Looking back, All I saw was mist, with vines blooming wildly across the cliff. 11. The next stretch of time was long, because Chris kept watching me. Several times I tried to end it, and several times he stopped me. He teased me with a sly smile. Do you have some kind of attention-seeking disorder? He didn't know. I was just in too much pain. Pain so sharp I wanted it all to end immediately. By the third day, the toxins in my body had spread to 93%. I collapsed, gasping for air, my chest aching as if it were ripping apart. The few players ahead glanced back at me, then looked away without a second thought. Damn, the deeper we go, the thicker the fog. How long until we find the seedling? Frank complained, but then asked Gary with some concern. Tired? Want to rest? Gary pouted, saying he was. The group decided to rest right there and recover their strength. Here, yours. Frank tossed me a compressed biscuit half-heartedly and quickly turned back to Gary. Ah, today we have canned beef and milk candy, Gary exclaimed excitedly, glancing deliberately in my direction. I leaned against a tree, lacking any appetite. So, while the four of them were happily occupied, I quietly slipped away. 12. Deep in the forest was a pond. The water was dark, like a black mirror. I took off my shoes and carefully stepped in. Somehow, I heard the clear laughter of a boy. He. In the blink of an eye, the mist began to dissipate, the water became clear, and birds chirped crisply from the trees. I was shocked to see a boy suddenly appear at the water's edge. He didn't seem to notice me, still smiling gently at the fish in the water, his voice soft. Hello there, little fish. I quickly realized it was an illusion. The figure was a scene replayed from some day in the past. I wanted to get closer, but the surroundings darkened rapidly, reverting in seconds to their previous state. The pond churned violently, turning red, pale severed limbs faintly visible. I sat back in fear. Thousands of fallen leaves swirled behind me, forming a shadowy figure. It embraced me, speaking in the raspy voice I had heard before. Don't die in the cold water. Die in my resting place, wife. 13. Resting place. The word made me freeze. Based on clues the team had previously found, the original forest guardian was a 16-year-old boy named Alan. He had died trying to stop poachers from killing musk deer. The enraged poachers drowned him in the pond and dismembered him. His left eye and lower body were thrown into the water, while his upper body was buried beneath a massive tree. Since then, thick mist covered the mountains year-round. Strange events occurred, and anyone entering died. Panicked villagers offered a living sacrifice each year, a young bride cast off the cliff, to calm the spirits. The curse of the Forest of Doom remained unbroken. 14. Are you, the forest guardian? I asked without looking back. The shadow paused thoughtfully. I forgot. I've been here too long. I was lonely until you appeared. For the first time, I wanted something. He nestled against my neck, brushing softly as leaves fell around us. Die by my side, and I'll grow the vines around you. In spring, I'll bloom the prettiest flowers around you. In summer, I'll shield you from the sun with leaves. In autumn, I'll pick the sweetest, biggest hawthorns for you. In winter, I'll wrap you tight and watch the snow with you. Listening to his low whispers, my heart felt a warmth I had never known, shifting with the seasons. That actually sounds nice. I smiled faintly. Though he was a monster, we were both lonely. If dying meant resting under a protective, sprawling tree, it didn't seem so bad. Then take me now, I said. Alan didn't respond. A breeze blew, and Frank's distant shouts carried faintly. The leafy shadow slowly dispersed, vanishing in an instant. 15. Soon, the four of them caught up. Henry, are you going to die if you don't act up? Frank was annoyed. Running to this stinking pond on purpose, making us come find you before we even finished eating. Does it make you happy if everyone else is unhappy? And Gary even left you half a can of meat. Chris pinched the bridge of his nose. Behave yourself, young master. I ignored them. Exhausted, I slowly rose, trying to use my last strength to leave, but I overestimated my body's condition. I blacked out within 2 seconds and collapsed again. Unexpectedly, the first person to reach me was David. Henry. David held me firmly, his brows tightly furrowed as he finally noticed something was wrong. He asked, "Why are your lips turning black?" Hearing this, Chris walked over and looked. He smiled. "Nice acting. Did you sneak some mulberries on your lips?" David rubbed his thumb on my lips. Nothing came off. Chris's smile vanished instantly. "He's not looking right. Gary, come over here." Gary froze, then pretended to use his skill to check me. "Don't worry, everyone. Henry's just exhausted. A little rest will fix him." Frank subtly exhaled. He scratched his red hair and muttered, getting so delicate, exhausted from just a little walking. That night, I lay in the team's tent, unconscious. Late at night, I vaguely heard the three of them talking outside. I wonder how much toxin is in his body. Should we give him an antidote? Gary said he's fine. We're only at 20%. He couldn't have gone this fast. Besides, Gary's constitution is weak. He practically needs a daily injection. Save the antidotes for him. Then tomorrow, let Gary give his only gas mask to Henry, so he doesn't feel slighted again. 17. The next day, Gary and I were left behind. The other three continued exploring, searching for the seedling in the main quest. I drifted in a haze, half-conscious. The system broadcast my status again. Player body toxin has exceeded 95%. Life points continuously decreasing. Player advised to take immediate countermeasures. Before long, Chris roughly yanked me upright. Where's Gary? I didn't respond immediately. His face darkened as he pressed further. I found your clothing button at the spot he disappeared and traces of a beast. Tell me why he's missing. But you're lying here unharmed. The same trick again. Gary had used it countless times. He hadn't grown tired of it, but I no longer had the energy to play along. Yes, I deliberately framed him. I forced a smile and looked at Chris, speaking slowly and deliberately. If you've got the guts, kill me. Chris's eyes darkened. He slowly raised his wind elemental chakram. Do you think I wouldn't dare? This was his personal weapon, fast, sharp, and precise enough to slice even a feather. Frank and David had originally been watching coldly. A muffled PFF sound. I moved to meet the blade, without hesitation slitting my own throat. 18. Henry. Frank's pupils widened as he ran to grab me. Warm blood spurted from my neck, splashing half of Chris's face. Chris froze, holding his weapon, stunned, like his soul had fled. Only when I collapsed to the ground did he react. Panicked, kneeling to try to hold me. Frank, wild-eyed, shoved him aside. What the hell are you doing, Chris? I didn't know he'd suddenly. Chris fumbled, taking off his jacket, trying to cover my gushing wound. David pulled him away, expression grim. Get out of the way. David quickly used his watch skill, rewind. In an instant, time reverted a minute back. Everyone exhaled in relief. Chris, shaken, dropped the chakram and looked guilty. Sorry, I acted on impulse. It's okay, I said, smiling at him. But as I smiled, black blood dribbled from my mouth. Doesn't matter either way. This time, Chris, Frank, and David all froze the same way. I swayed, coughing up blood. Cough. I said I'm dying. Whether or not that cut happens, the result's the same. I gave them a brilliant smile. This time, it wasn't to please anyone. It was the smile of someone finally free. 19. The moment my body hit the ground, the earth trembled, surrounding trees twisting and shrieking. A fissure slowly opened beneath me. David reacted first, scooping me up and leaping back. It's the Forest Lord's domain rules. Stay on guard. No sooner had he shouted than a corrupted branch impaled his shoulder. He groaned, swinging his whip, holding me while attacking and dodging. The three were forced to respond to the sudden assault. The fissure widened, countless vine tendrils emerging. One reached out and grabbed me. Henry. David watched helplessly as I was dragged toward the chasm, panic in his voice like never before. Frank leapt forward, shooting several tendrils and holding onto me tightly. Don't let go, please, don't let go. His eyes were red, voice choking. Sorry, at least this time. Let me hold on to you. I looked at him calmly. No attachment left. I pried his fingers one by one. No, I said softly. I won't compete with Gary anymore. So, let me go. The last finger released. I plummeted, and the chasm closed behind me. Only the sound of a young man's broken cries echoed in the darkness. 20. Just like last time, I returned to this place. Only now, my internal organs seemed to be decaying, so I kept coughing up blood. Alan fed me some kind of fruit, temporarily numbing the pain. Alan. I lay drowsily in the vine hammock. As Alan swayed his branches, I gently moved with him. You're a tree, why do you bloom? Alan thought for a moment, voice distant with memory. A long time ago, a dying vine came to my roots. Its life was weak, yet it tried to climb onto me, desperate to live. I liked the flowers on it, so I accepted its attachment, absorbed and merged with it, and we became one. I smiled faintly. Sounds more like you stole the vine's life. Alan paused, lifting a vine tendril, where a purple flower bloomed at its tip. No, it willingly stayed with me. He tucked the flower by my ear, murmuring, only if it's willing can it grow with me, just like you came to my side. But I know, you're not mine yet, but it's okay, as long as you're happy. Hearing this, my nose tingled. I turned my head slightly to hide it. Sorry, I just have nowhere else to go. Because besides you, no one likes me, even my birth mother. The French man she loved disappeared after learning she was pregnant. She resented my birth and my mixed features. And thus, hate was born. Recalling how I entered the game, I closed my eyes. Wife, don't be sad. Alan picked me up, bringing me to a few puddles on the ground. Wife, someone likes you. Look, 21. The reflection in the puddle made my eyes widen slightly. In it, Frank and Chris were fighting fiercely. Gary was tied up in a corner, his face pale. You're useless. You can't even hold on to anyone. Useless? If you hadn't blindly accused him, he wouldn't have lost hope and let go. Chris sneered, throwing another punch. Now you're blaming me. Isolating Henry was supposedly a group decision, right? And the one who bullied him the most, wasn't that you? Frank's retaliation was frenzied, eyes red. Yes, I bullied him. I deliberately favored Gary so he'd regret it. Who told him to kill Brian? Seduce all of us, yet choose no one. But I never thought of letting him die. Their fight escalated, even using personal weapons. David, who had been observing coldly, finally intervened. With 2 whip strikes, he separated them. Stop acting like lunatics. Chris wiped blood from his mouth, mocking. What are you pretending now? Thinking you're noble? Suddenly, he grabbed David's collar, ripping the pendant from his neck. What's this? Henry's charm from the last dungeon. At least we admitted we liked him. But you're just a grim little clown. Frank scrambled to his feet, furious. In that case, may the best man win. Whoever finds Henry first keeps him. He loaded bullets into his pistol with a vicious glare. It's just an A-level survival dungeon. As long as he hasn't poisoned himself completely, he still has 1 breath left. I can beat this dungeon violently and get him out alive. 22. Alan rustled quietly, carrying me back to the hammock. I suddenly couldn't breathe, feeling nauseous, unable to watch anymore. He slowly wrapped me completely, whispering into my ear. I hate them. I want to take you away. I really want to kill them, but I'm afraid you'd be angry. I murmured softly, do as you wish. Hearing their true thoughts, I felt an absurd, suffocating sense. So even in sleep, I had nightmares. I dreamt of my mother hysterically choking me, Frank and the others' hateful gazes, and countless moments of despair when abandoned. Love can make people insane. So should I endure all of this? Wife, such a crybaby. Alan gently wiped my tears. It's okay, you look beautiful even when you cry. My time was running out, yet Alan still tried so hard to make me happy. He used his omniscience to catch a little rabbit in the forest for me, and when roasting it, he dodged the fire, which was kind of funny. He offered me mountain spring water. I turned away. He didn't get angry, pouring the water at the tree roots and drinking it himself. In the afternoon, he summoned deer for me to touch their ears and play with. At night, he coaxed me out from underground, shifting branches, clearing the fog, letting the starry sky reflect in my eyes. You don't have to do all this. I lowered my eyes. For someone about to die, it feels meaningless. Alan, however, seemed delighted. As long as my wife is happy, it's worth it. I wanted to cry again. I realized love isn't only madness, it can be patient, silent, and protective, needing no response. I was lucky to experience it. Just too late. 23. When the 4 found me, I was wearing a beautiful flower crown, sitting on a vine swing, drowsy. I'd likely been attacked on the way here. They looked disheveled, clothes torn. Henry. Frank's voice trembled as he approached. Thank God, you're not dead. Thank God, don't come near me. I closed my eyes in disgust. I don't want to see you right now. It's nauseating. Frank froze, expression pained. Chris shoved Gary forward. We brought this bastard to apologize to you. Gary knelt, trembling, mumbling sorry. Chris, exhausted, looked at me. I promise, we won't treat you like that again. I'll spend the rest of my life making up for my past mistakes. Henry, come back to me. Frank snapped, shouting curses. You're sick. Even if you spent your life atoning, it should be me, not you. You don't deserve it. Chris shot back. Are you worthy? A brute with a brainless body. A total idiot. David's forehead vein bulged, muttering lowly. Idiots. You call who an idiot? I'll tell you. David, you're the last one who qualifies. Ha! The former captain died to save him. Why don't you die instead? Always pretending to be impressive. I was dizzy from their shouting, nearly vomiting blood. Finally, I snapped. Everyone, get the hell out. 24. Alan hadn't moved earlier, cautious of my condition, but the moment I shouted, "Get out," he launched his attack. The three reacted instantly, dodging agilely. "I almost forgot about you." David's face went cold, expression unreadable, biting his finger to drip blood onto his whip. An animal, yet dares to covet him. David's dual technique imbued his weapon with corrosive power, weakening the boss's regeneration. "Take down this monster first, the seedling should be under its roots." Frank and Chris nodded. "Got it." The boss had home field advantage, the domain rules were under its control. Alan shielded me while effortlessly launching fierce attacks against the three. They, on the other hand, fought recklessly, as if facing a mortal enemy, willing to risk all. They battled intensely for over 10 minutes. I was already struggling to breathe. Web-like veins appeared on my body. Frank glanced at me mid-fight, shouting, "Henry, we can't keep this up. You're close to collapsing." They changed tactics. Frank and Chris drew fire, while David waited for the right moment to pull me into his arms. A cold gun pressed against my neck. "Stop." 25. Leaves and petals fell from the sky. Alan maintained his defensive stance but didn't dare move. He let out an angry hiss, black mist swirling around him. "Don't touch him." "Ha! This beast really likes Henry," Chris sneered, tossing his spinning blade. "But too bad. He belongs to us." The high-speed wind blade cut through the branches. Frank followed, gunfire booming, bullets igniting wherever they struck. Alan twisted in pain, screaming. David raised his electricity-wrapped whip and struck, splitting the trunk. The giant tree collapsed with a roar. Frank kicked the cornered Gary. "What are you standing there for? Help dig." They dug frantically under the roots. Soon, the body of a teenage boy emerged. His skin was like jade, his features youthful and handsome. His eyes were closed, peaceful. A flower bloomed where his left eye should be, his lower body merged with brown roots. This should be it. Chris cut open the chest carefully, exposing the heart. He gently removed the seedling growing inside. Instantly, the ground shook. The entire forest screamed in pain. The boy's eyes snapped open, hand gripping Chris's neck. "Activate frenzy. Move now." 26. Frank shot Alan in the arm. Chris freed himself, and they began retreating, hooking their grappling claws onto the rock face. I clung to Frank's back. I saw Alan crawling out of the earth, chasing me frantically. I tried to speak, but no sound came out. "He's fast," Chris said. "Knock him down, his roots are underground. He won't climb high." Chris kicked Alan, sending him flying. Alan climbed again. Black eyes locked on me with obsessive intensity. Bang! 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 Frank fired at his head repeatedly. Alan screamed in madness but could only watch as I was carried away. Final phase initiated. The forest becomes a sealed zone. Boss will unleash the curse of doom. Players lingering too long will be stripped of flesh and become forest sustenance. 5 seconds later, the system spoke again. Ding! Curse of doom active. Players not leaving the forest within 15 minutes will fail. Please escape immediately. In an instant, the mountains caught fire. Plants, leaves, birds, and beasts all became aggressive. Trees grew twisted, blocking the paths. The land cracked, revealing tangled roots writhing like worms. Thousands of hands rose from the ground, shrieking to seize new prey. I was carried, vision bouncing. Alan's gaze flashed in my mind, summoning a sudden strength. I shoved away the person in front and fell to the ground. I ran back, no matter the danger. 27. The first to catch up was Frank. Why are you doing this?" He grabbed my shoulder, tears streaming down his face. "Do you still hate me? You won't forgive me." "I admit I hurt you," he screamed in anguish. "But are you completely innocent? You have everyone's affection, yet you choose no one, love no one. You keep trying to please everyone with that naive smile, thinking you can always be the perfect teammate. Do you think that's possible, Henry? How can you so casually disregard my love?" I looked at him calmly. "Do you love me?" I asked. "Sorry, I never saw it," he said. His tear-streaked face froze, unsure how to react. A vine coiled around his arm. I ignored him, turning and leaving without a glance. 28. The second was Chris. "You're going back for him? Are you crazy? You'll die." He tried to grab me. The ground beneath was sinking. Red-eyed and desperate, he shouted after me. "If even a humanoid can become a monster, why can't I? If I'm destined not to have you, then, at least, don't let anyone else have you, okay? Henry, don't go back, please." His voice grew tearful. I kept moving, faster and faster. The third was David. He didn't speak, silently blocking my path. He grabbed my hand firmly. "Come with me." I looked at him coldly. "Do you think you're any different from them? your indifference, your cold observation, it's all the same. It disgusts me just as much. A trace of pain appeared in David's eyes. I never meant to hurt you, he said. I just couldn't believe I'd fall in love with you. He stared deeply at me. 3 seconds later, his pupils dilated slightly. David, step back. Leave. He froze, then began moving uncontrollably. I smiled and told him, that's the real temptation. I never used my skill on you. Not once. Because you're not worthy. With that, I walked alone in the opposite direction of escape, steadfast, anticipating, back into the mist. 29. Alan remained in place, half his face burned by Frank's flames, his chest cut open, purple blood flowing. Yet when he saw me, his expression was pure joy. You promised we'd die together. I looked back at him gently. Then, I leapt. Player toxin level 100%. Death countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7. This time, it's not because there's nowhere to go. 6, 5, 4. It's because I willingly stay by your side. 3, 2, 1. Your bride has returned. Alan. I died in his arms. 30. Ding. The system continued. Hidden ending triggered. If unable to leave the forest at death, will you choose to lose your freedom and become part of the forest? Player Henry. Symbiosis contract signed. Congratulations. Ending achieved. Rebirth. Eternal bloom. 31. Since then, Curse Forest has updated its lore. A boy swinging under the giant underground tree, wearing a flower crown, features delicate, godlike, but do not approach lightly. Once entranced by his beauty, dangerous tree spirits will pull you underground and devour you completely.